Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yoga for Self-Love with Kim. I'm Kim. This will be a short, slow flow vinyasa practice to bring in some focus on the core, the quads, and the arms. We will use a couple of yoga blocks, so grab your yoga blocks, come and join me on the mat, and bring yourself into a comfortable space to begin your practice. I'm going to start in child's pose. Feel free to join me in child's pose or whatever feels best for you today. I'm bringing my knees wide into a wide knee child's pose, bum back to the heels, then begin to slowly fold yourself in, releasing your forehead down to the mat, or you could stack the arms, make a little pillow with your arms, release the forehead down to the arms. Take a few nice deep breaths here. Beginning to check in, assess, how do you feel today? What's happening in your body, in your mind? What's happening with your energy? How do you feel? I invite you to bring in the intention to be gentle, kind, patient, loving, and compassionate with yourself as you move through the practice today. And to carry this intention off of the mat and out into the world with you, if you so choose. And send your awareness through your body, noticing any tight or sticky spaces, any areas of tension, tightness, or anything feels blocked, energy, emotions. And as best you can, send those areas some breath, some love, some permission to soften, to let go, to release their grip, to let your whole body relax, relaxing from your feet all the way up through the legs, all the way up through the torso, out through the arms, all the way down to the fingers, the neck, the head, the jaw, everything relax. And then we'll begin to slowly start to move now. So find your way into a table position, coming onto the hands and knees. And then finding any movement here that feels good. You can rock your hips from side to side or roll through a few rounds of cat-cow, or look over towards the right hip and then look over towards the left hip and move this side to side. Little snaky motion. And then bring yourself back to center, back to your table. Now we'll turn the right fingers around to face that right knee or face towards the back of your mat. If your fingers don't turn all the way back, that's okay. You can turn the fingers back and out to the sides a little bit. Just feeling an opening through that right forearm, through that right wrist. And you can stay here, or you could begin to slowly pull your bum back towards your heels. Begin to feel that opening through the forearm, through the wrist, and maybe even bend that right elbow, peel the heel of that right palm up off of the mat. Just play around with this here, feel where you get some good sensation. And then we'll Flip the right hand back around to face the top of the mat. Switch it over to the other side. Turn those left fingers around to face that left knee or towards the back of the mat or back and out to the side. Holding here, or again, gently pulling your bum back towards your heels, maybe allowing the heel of that left hand to peel up off of the mat. And then bring yourself back into your table. Turn the left fingers back up to face the top of your mat. We'll extend the right leg back now, hip level-ish. Finding our way into a cat balance, root down into the right fingers, and then reach forward with that left arm. Now we'll take this into some crunches here. Bend the left elbow, bend the right knee. Begin to draw them towards each other underneath your body as you press down into that right hand. Round up through your back, knee, elbow hugging towards each other, and then extend yourself back out. Left arm reaches, right leg moves back again. Curl it back in. Press into the right finger pads. Round up through the back. Left elbow, right arm hugging towards each other. A few more times. Extend yourself out. And then curl it in. And then release the hand, release the knee down to the mat. Other side, send that left leg back. We'll reach forward with that right arm. And now curl it in. Bend the right elbow, bend the left knee, round yourself in. Re-extend that right arm out. Left leg moves back. Curl it in again. Right elbow, left knee, draw in towards each other. Reach it back out. Curl it in. Once or twice more. And then release. Tuck your toes under. Begin to roll yourself back up onto the balls of your feet. Lower your heels down to the mat, and then take your hands around behind you. Lower your bum down to the mat. Extend your legs out in front of you, coming into Dandasana, staff pose. Take the fingers down underneath the shoulders. Press down into the fingers, down into the heels. Pull the toes towards you. Could have a big or little bend in the knees here if you like. Sitting up nice and tall. So notice what's happening with the pelvis. You don't want to be rounding through the back here. Find a neutral pelvis. And if you need it, bend the knees to make that happen. Now take your fingers down around your thighs. Press down into that left heel and begin to lift up that right foot, right leg. Lift in and up through the belly. Feel the quads turn on. Release that right foot down to the mat. Now press down into that right heel. Begin to lift that left leg up off of the mat. Still sitting up nice and tall here. Lifting through the quads. And then release. Press into your finger pads. Draw the belly in and up. Pick up that right leg now. And release. And then other side, we'll lift up that left leg. And then release it down. Now take your hands behind you. Walk your feet in. Press down into the hands and begin to pick up your feet, lifting your shins about parallel-ish to the mat. Coming into our Navasana, boat pose with the hands down. Lower your feet down to the mat, press down into your fingers. Glide your hips up and forward, coming into a reverse table. Lower your bum back down to the mat. Walk your feet in, draw the knees in towards the chest, and then pick up the feet again. Shins parallel-ish to the mat. Lift up through that low back. Hands can stay where they are or can reach the arms forward or out to the sides. Keep hugging in through the legs. Release the feet down. Hands come back under the shoulders. Glide your hips up. Reverse table. And then release your bum back down. Now grab your blocks. Take the blocks about hip area-ish. Hands on top of the blocks. We'll press the hands down into the block, spread the fingers wide, and then begin to roll yourself forward, coming back into that reverse table. You can gaze up or you can gaze forward, whatever feels okay for your neck. And now we'll begin to draw your bum back. So your bum will come back in between the blocks, roll up on your heels. Press down into the hands, hug in through the belly, and then roll it forward. Plant the feet down, you come back through your reverse table. Again, pull your bum back in between the blocks, roll up onto the heels, and then roll it forward again, reverse table. Roll it back, hips pull back. This time, lift up that right heel, right leg, turning on through the quads. Right foot moves back down, you send the hips forward, reverse table. And then pull the hips back again. And this time you lift up that left foot. And then plant that left foot. Roll the hips forward. Pull the hips back again. Lifting up that right foot. Plant it down. Find that reverse table. Slide the hips back. Roll up onto that right heel. Lift up that left foot. Lift up through the belly. Plant that foot down, glide the hips forward. And then lower your bum back down to the mat. Give the hands a little shake. And then let's take it forward. Hands down to the mat, back through your table. Let's tuck the toes under, glide the hips up and back, downward dog. Pedal out your legs, find whatever movement you like here, bend straight in the knees. And then crouch yourself down, tiger dog. Press down into the feet, hug in through the legs, lift up through the belly, roll yourself forward, plank pose. Few breaths here, pressing the floor away with the hands, lifting up through the belly. And then glide yourself back up, downward dog. Crouch yourself down, roll it forward, find your plank. Now we'll lift up that right foot, right leg. Could keep that leg hovering or bring the right toes to rest on the back of that left heel. Lift that right foot back up, release that foot down to the mat, other side. Root into the fingers, keep the belly lifting, arms nice and strong as you push the floor away. Lift up that left foot, left leg. Maybe you take the left toes to rest on the back of that right heel. And then release that foot down. Glide the hips back, downward dog. And then step it up to the top of your mat. Bend your knees, hinge from your hips, belly to the thighs. Let the head go. Shake or nod the head. Rock your hips. Sway the arms. And then bring yourself to center. Bend your knees a lot. Lift up that right foot. Slide that right hand underneath. All the way up to the wrist. Lift up that left foot, slide that left hand underneath, all the way up to the wrist. You can gently move the toes around. Give yourself a little hand, wrist massage with your feet. And then pluck the hands out. Hands to the hips, press into your feet, come all the way up to stand. Bring the palms together overhead. Slide the hands down to your heart. Bend your knees. Sit your hips back. Take it into a chair pose. Knees back, bum back, hips back. Press into the feet. Straighten the legs, arms reach up overhead, and palms come back down to your heart. Bend your knees, sit yourself back. Let's reach the arms forward. Coming back into chair pose. Now slowly take the weight over into that left foot, and as you do that, roll up onto the ball of your right foot. Stay right here, or extend that right leg forward. Lift up through that right heel, and then release that right foot down to the mat. Sit it back in your chair, arms sweep forward again. Weight into that right foot, right leg. Roll up onto the ball of that left foot. Stay here, or extend that left leg forward, one-legged chair, and then release that left foot down to the mat. Press into your feet. Come all the way up, palms together overhead, hands to your heart. Reach your arms up, fold yourself in. Halfway lift up to a flat back. Plant your hands down to the mat, step yourself back to plank. Drop knees, lower down to the belly. And let's lift it up, baby cobra. Release down, tuck the toes, root into the fingers. Glide the hips up and back to your downward dog. Step or hop yourself up top of your mat. Fold it back in, halfway up to your flat back, and then fold it in. Press into the feet, rise all the way up, palms together overhead. Hands come back down to your heart. Sit back in your chair again, arms reach forward. Let's take the weight over into that right foot, roll up onto the ball of your left foot. Stay here, or again, extend that left leg forward, press out through that heel. Pull the toes back towards you. Sit it back down in your chair. Over to the other side, weight into that left foot. Roll up onto the ball of your right foot. Stay here, or extend that right leg forward. And then release that right foot down to the mat. Press into the feet, come all the way up, palms together, hands to the heart. Reach arms up, we'll fold it in. Halfway lift. Plant your hands down to the mat, step it back to plank. Drop knees, lower down to your belly. And let's lift it, baby cobra, maybe full cobra. Release yourself back down, tuck the toes. Send the hips up and back, downward dog. Step or hop it up top of your mat. Fold it in. Halfway up, flat back. Fold in, forward fold. Press into the earth, rise all the way up, palms together overhead. Hands come down to your heart. Reach yourself up, arms reach. Fold in, forward fold, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. Plant the hands and step it back to plank. Either lower the knees all the way down and move through cobra, or let's bring it into chaturanga. Roll it forward on your toes, bend your elbows, lower yourself down halfway-ish. Elbows will stack up over the wrists. Come onto the tops of the feet, thighs lifted. Pull the heart forward for your upward dog. And we'll meet back in down dog. Drop knees down to the mat. Tuck toes under. Roll up onto the balls of your feet and then lower heels down to the mat. You come back through your squat. Lower your bum down to the mat. Grab a hold of your yoga blocks again. Bring them alongside the hips-ish. Let's plant the feet again. Press the hands down into the blocks. Press down into your feet. And begin to glide the hips forward, finding that reverse table again. Hips pull back, you roll up onto that left heel. Lift up that right foot, right leg. Plant the feet down, hips glide forward. And then you pull the hips back. Roll up onto the right heel, lift up that left leg. Plant the feet down, roll it forward. And pull the hips back one more time. You roll up onto the heels, maybe even try to give yourself a little lift. Maybe you lift up the heels for a second. And then lower heels down, lower your bum down. Extend the legs out again. Now we'll either take it into a half hero or half virasana, if that is okay for you, for your knees, or if not, you can take it onto the belly and move into a quad stretch. So if you're moving into a half hero or half virasana, from your staff pose, keep the left leg extended, bend that right knee, and draw that right foot back alongside your hip. And you could stay upright, or you can begin to lean back on your hands. Maybe lower yourself all the way down onto the elbows, or even all the way down onto your back. Get a nice stretch through that right quad. But if this is not okay for your knees, if virasana just is not for you, then alternately you could come onto your belly. Take the left forearm to the top of your mat. Bend that right knee. Just reach back with that right hand. Pull the foot in. A little bit easier on the knees, but you still get a nice quad stretch here. So you take your version here, half hero, or you take this prone quad stretch. And then we'll slowly bring it back up, switch it over to the other side. So if you're in your virasana, we'll switch legs. We'll keep the right leg extended. Now bend that left knee, bring that left foot alongside the left hip, and then slowly lower yourself back. So again, you could come up onto the elbows. You could tuck a bolster behind you if you like. If it's available, you could come all the way down onto the mat, or you find the prone quad stretch and come down onto your belly. And then slowly find your way back up. You can come back onto the elbows, plant the hands, lift yourself back up, and find your way into a comfortable seat. Bring your palms together at your heart. Close your eyes. Take a few nice, deep, smooth, steady breaths. In and out through the nose, or in through the nose and out through the mouth. May you feel safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you live with ease. May your heart be open to love, compassion, and may you know joy. Thank you very much for sharing your practice with me today. With love and gratitude, namaste.